terms of questions, I did see an interesting one, which I think I'd reset my chat, so it's now gone. Oh dear, that's a bad name for me to try and pronounce. I'm going to say PB. Do apologise, but I'll probably insult people more by saying the name. I'm thinking of captaining Alonso over Salah. Am I crazy? I don't own Hazard or Aguero. There's one of three to consider.
I wouldn't say he's crazy. I wouldn't.
No.
It's definitely not crazy because Alonso has returned. You know, he's 1 point away from delivering double digits every single game week so far. It's only the 9 that he got last time. So it's definitely not crazy, especially with Cardiff at home next. You know, which despite Cardiff's excellent performance against Arsenal, that was at their ground, and away from home. I'm finding it hard to think that Cardiff can score there. A clean sheet has got to be likely, at least, very likely, you would think. So I don't think you're crazy for captaining Alonso, and his ownership is very high now, but as is Salah's, and Salah did score at White Hart Lane, Wembley last year. So Salah could score there too, I wouldn't say you're crazy, but I'd still consider it a bit of a gamble.
Well, Kurt, you captained Alonso last week, so
it's sort of 70% thinking he's got returns every week, and 30% I haven't got a captaincy pick right. I'm just gonna go for broke and go for something really stupid. So it's sort of it was a mixture of the two. It's without having Hazard or Aguero, it isn't good. Aguero will obviously be the first person that people point out as being a potential sort of rotation threat. But Alonso's got, like I say, Brett said, Alonso's got the figures to back it up. And you look at his next game, Cardiff at home, then West Ham away. You're thinking that's another 2 wins. The way Chelsea have been playing, that's another 2 clean sheets. And then you've got to look at potential attacking returns if it's by a couple of goals, because he's in the box more than Morata or Giroud are. I'm sure there might be a stat that I'm sure that's not true, but I don't think it'd be far off. The bloke never seems to be in left back.
Yeah, someone just said in the chat as well, how can you call yourself crazy for captaining the highest point scorer of the season so far? We forget Alonso is the highest scoring player so far. And I touch upon it again, like we did earlier. It was his performance in the last game week against Bournemouth, on Match of the Day. Alonso could have had 2 assists, 2 goals, or a hat trick, or him and Hazard combined so well in that game. And there's an interesting tweet from a Chelsea supporter on Twitter that I read just before this stream. And it's a quote from Alonso. And he says, "All my life, I had played in a back 4 at Real Madrid and at Bolton. This is me going back to my natural position. I'm very happy with Sarri's new system. He's even happier now than he was in the 3-5-2. And that's from Alonso himself. So clearly he's enjoying the position he's in. He's in incredible form. If ever there was a time to captain a defender, it would be against Cardiff at home for Alonso. There's no doubt about that. So definitely not crazy for thinking about it. And it could massively pay off."
Jay, any more you'd like to add to that?
Well, look, I've been looking at Alonso without owning him and watched him score points, get assists, get as many penalty area touches in a game as a lot of the strikers that game week. And while there have been a few stats where there are defenders with better underlying stats, the fact is Alonso's converting more. He's got more attempts in total. And if Chelsea are going to have a game where you think it's very likely I'll get a clean sheet, it is against Cardiff. So it's not crazy at all, because you will every now and again get a player that, even if their underlying stats aren't the best across the board, they are just converting chances. You've had players like Ramsey had a season where people didn't bring him in straight away because his underlying stats weren't great, and it was just he can't keep up this goal conversion rate, and he did. Yaya Toure was another one. He had a season where he was scoring screamers over and over again, and people were like, "Oh, all his shots are coming from outside the box. It will stop. The goals will stop," and the goals just never stopped. So if he is converting and getting points, and he has done for the last 4 game weeks, it's not crazy to captain him at all.
Indeed. Yep.